Ah, Christmas. What a lovely time of the year. Next to Halloween, it's my favorite holiday, and it's not because of getting gifts. In all honesty, I prefer giving than getting, though getting the right gift for my girl and getting it on time does put me in a dive. Nevertheless, I look forward for this time of the year for inspiration for my writing, long walks in the snow, winter fishing and hunting, and curling up on the couch next to a roaring fire with a cup of cocoa in hand and Calvin and Hobbes comics in the other. And for the first time I have a girlfriend during the Yule months, there will be many nights cuddling by the fire, which I look forward to, like the hopeless romantic that I am. But I figured that I should make a video for the holidays because many of us seem to forget what this holiday is all about. But for those who do remember, you may not know everything. Let us go back to the beginning. Ever since I was a child, I learned how to say the holiday greetings in the 3 languages that I know: Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, and Bon Natale. In each language they all mean the same thing, but if you translate it word by word, you get a different translation. Christmas is simple enough as the word Christ is in there, but Natale has always been a puzzler. Now, when someone wishes me a Merry Christmas in Italian, I simply reply, Buon Natalis. I received plenty of odd looks because they knew I wasn't making a mistake. I said Natalis on purpose. The reason for this is because that is the true name of Christmas. Natale comes to the Latin word natalis, which means festival. The festival Natale is referring to is Dies Natalis Invictus Solis, which translates to the festival of the invincible sun, or the unconquerable sun. This is an ancient Roman holiday celebrated between the 22nd and the 25th to celebrate the rebirth of the sun, when sunlight begins to increase after the winter solstice. 3 great gods were worshipped during the festival: Elagabalus, Mithras, and Sol, the unconquered sun gods. There is so much in that holiday of old that makes millions of people's heads spin. My nation wishes one another a happy heathen holiday without knowing that Natale and Natalis is the same word. But what is most interesting is the god Mithras. Most people don't know who he is, but if they did, they would not want to believe. Mithras is one of the sun gods that came to live amongst mortal men and took with him 12 disciples. Sound familiar? It should, for it is the tale of Jesus Christ. Back in the heathen days of old, new Christians had only Yahweh, the sole God, and neither tradition nor rite to follow. So all they could do was take and steal from the pagan faith they abandoned. Of course, they fought to say that Jesus and Mithras were completely different gods, but the remaining Hellenic pagans of Roma were not so fooled. But as you can see since then, most have forgotten Mithras and only know the son of Yahweh. But not all the traditions of old have been lost. I don't need to explain what Christmas is, but for the sake of argument I shall. On the 25th of December, we exchange gifts that we keep under an evergreen tree with a star on top, and have a feast to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. We've already established that Jesus is actually another god called Mithras, but that doesn't explain the rest of the holiday's traditions. Those who question it, they don't actually feel very Christian, which leads to the many non-believers to claim that the holiday is made up by companies to make money. Even though the new traditions don't come from Rome, they're not so new that we can say that they're just creations by capitalist greed. They are spread over the past 1,000 years from many nations across Europa. Santa Claus comes from many cultures including German, Russian, and Italiano. I'm still fucking amazed by how Catholic my homeland is, and yet we still worship a witch every year. No fooling. We Italians worship La Befana, a witch who flies on a broom and gives us gifts like Santa Claus on Epiphany Eve, night of January the 5th. The reindeer come from the old Russian deer tribes, and at least for the last name Claus, I think it's from the Germanic tribes of Azaland. But what of feasts, gifts, and trees? Well, all celebrations must have a feast, and exchanging of gifts goes without saying, but the tree and the star is an interesting one. Many wonder, but do not question its place in the holiday because of how fun it is. But to explain its origin is of far more spiritual importance. Since the great days of old, pagans across Europa have brought into their homes an evergreen tree to represent life even in the death of winter. This is done on the winter solstice that falls, depending on which calendar of faith you follow, the 21st to the 25th. Yes, on one of the holiest of days, Christmas. But is that a coincidence? That an ancient pagan holiday where one of the gods worshipped is one that has almost the same background as Jesus and is celebrated on the same day of his birth? No. Everything happens for a reason, and the Christian holiday of Christmas is actually the pagan holiday of Dies Natalis Invictus Solis and the winter solstice. But what of the star that goes on top of the Christmas tree? Isn't that the Star of Bethlehem? Probably not. It's most likely the pagan star, the 5-pointed star, the pentacle, the pentagram. And what of gift giving? I mean, it can't just be because of a celebration. Actually, that's a Viking tradition of Azatru. Look, I'm not trying to be the asshole, but rather the opposite. This time of the year, I always see atheists and Christians bickering over nothing. Christians shouting, "Keep the Christ in Christmas," and atheists shouting, "Jesus isn't real and this holiday is a corporate lie, blah blah blah." The only thing I can really do here is be the reality check. Number 1 is to tell them the truth about the holiday, and second, and most importantly, how about learning from the holiday? For at least one day a year we are given the chance to stop fighting and hating one another. If neither party can understand that, then I pity you even more. Love thy kith, kin, and neighbor if you don't want to end up spending the holidays alone. This is the Dragon of the East Blue saying sail on, Merry Dies Natalis Invictus Solis, Yule Feast, Winter Solstice, Saturnalia, Kwanzaa, and may the gods be with you. After all, it's the most wonderful time of the year.